Assalamualaikum and a pleasant day to you everyone. I am Jadim Guru from Group 4, and for this video I'll be explaining or discussing the animal reproductive system. So first of all, what comes to mind when you hear the word reproduction? So I bet we all think about the increase of number of a population or a certain species. So that is right. So reproductive system is an organ system responsible for the process of reproduction. It is what animal or any organism use to reproduce. So the role or the main role of reproduction is to let any organisms produce offspring for the purpose of continuation of the species or to avoid their extinction. So what are the organs involved in the reproductive system of an animal? So firstly, let us talk about the major male organs of the reproductive system. First is testes with the I for singular and testes with E for plural. So it is found inside the scrotum. The main function of its testes is to produce testosterone, which is the male hormone responsible for many changes in physical characteristics of a male animal. A spermatozoa or the sperm cells with the process of spermatogenesis. Spermatozoa or sperm cell are the male gametes that carry the genetic material. Third is the epididymis or epididymis is a highly convoluted duct behind the testes, and its main function is to store and bring maturity to the sperm. Fourth major organ of a male reproductive system is the deferent duct or vas deferens, which is a male organ system that transports sperm cells from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle. Fifth is the urethra. It is the channel or the pathway that carries the semen to the outside of the body through the male genital. It is also part of the excretory system. Semen is a mixture of sperm and three fluids from three glands. Penis is an organ in the reproductive system that conveys sperm and other fluids from the testes to the female reproductive tract during mating. It also conveys urine from the bladder to the outside via urethra. Prostate gland is an organ that produces an alkaline-like fluid that comprises approximately 70% of the seminal volume. It also functions as a hormone production and urine flow regulator. The next gland is bulbourethral gland, also known as Cowper's gland. Is also one of the glands that produces fluid in the seminal mixture. The alkaline mucus-like fluid that it secretes is the one responsible for neutralizing the acidity of the urine residue in the urethra to avoid sperm death, and also as lubrication during intercourse. And lastly, seminal vesicles are a pair of glands found in the male pelvis that functions to produce many of the constituent ingredients of semen like fructose, protein, citric acid, etc. And so the summary of the male reproductive system is first from the testes, which is sperm production, then epididymis, where the sperm is stored, deferent duct or vas deferens, which is the tube that transports sperm from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle, then ejaculatory duct, which is a tube that connects the vas deferens and seminal vesicles, then urethra, and then penis. So that's it for the major male organs in the reproductive system. Let's proceed to the major female organs in the reproductive system. First is ovary. Is a female organ that functions to reproduce egg cells or ova with the process of oogenesis. It also produces most of the estrogen and progesterone hormone in female animals. So the difference between the two hormones, estrogen and progesterone, is that estrogen is the hormone responsible for the changes in female characteristics, while progesterone is the hormone responsible for the pregnancy or involved in pregnancy. Second is uterine tube, also known as oviduct, is an organ that transports the ova from the ovary to the uterus each month. It also provides the environment for the survival of both ova and sperm. Third is uterus. It provides a receptacle by which embryos can develop into a full-term fetuses. Fourth is cervix. Is a smooth muscle sphincter between the body of the uterus and the female genital. Fifth is vagina. Is a female organ that extends caudally from the cervix that connects it with connects it with vulva. Sixth is mammary glands, is a gland that mainly functions as milk producer, and also mammary glands are present in both sexes but are usually functional only to the females. And lastly, vulva. It functions as a passage of urine and opening for mating and serves as part of the birth canal. Let us proceed to the two types of reproduction, which is asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction that only requires one parent and generates an offspring identical to it. There are four types of asexual reproduction. First is fission, budding, fragmentation, and parthenogenesis. Fission is where parent cells split into two identical daughter cells of the same size. An example of an animal that undergo this type of reproduction is sea anemone. Next is budding. It's an asexual reproduction that occurs when a parent animal forms a bubble-like bud. An example of this is a jellyfish. Third is fragmentation. It is where one parent organism breaks into fragments or pieces and develops into new organisms. And an example of this is a starfish. And lastly, parthenogenesis. It is where an organism reproduces without fertilization. An example of this is a domesticated chicken or turkey. Some of the domesticated chicken and turkeys lay eggs and that are not fertilized. And lastly, sexual reproduction. It is a reproduction that requires two parents by making use of their sex cells, the egg and sperm cell. The only type of sexual reproduction in animals that I found in the internet is the syngamy, or also known as fertilization. It is when two gametes, the egg cell and sperm cell, unite to form a zygote. That's all. Thank you.